A forum to address and to go to, so that I'm sure when you'll come to a situation where we show you all a case study of Saint Sebastian, you all will realize that yes, we'll be objecting, but most probably we'll have to move further the courts for to get our relief. So the next speaker, can we request Mr. Ashok Gupta, please, who is an advocate and developer.
My friends on the dais and dear friends sitting opposite me, two disclaimers before I start saying something. I'm not an advocate. I'm a keen student of law, not an advocate. Second disclaimer, I'm an entity, I'm a specimen called developer. So, most maligned person, as everybody will say, I'm a sandwiched person between the landowner and the municipal corporation. With this, I have few observations to make. When I read the development plan, past, present, I remember one anecdote told to me by somebody. A person went to a law bookseller in UK, London, and he asked for a copy of the constitutional law. The bookseller said, "We don't deal in dailies. Our constitution, where the amendments are there so much, in the UK they treat it as a daily newspaper. I don't know what we will call our development plan. Hourly news bulletins." Well, with this thing in our mind, I'm aware that planning is a very dynamic subject. It is not static, it keeps on changing. But from my perspective, and I'm sure from your perspective also, as Mr. Prabhu, I think Mr. Darrell said, the omissions. One of the greatest omission, right from the day the planning has started until today and continued in the proposed plan, is there is no certainty given. There is no certainty given to any development that whatever they are proposing, whatever they are sanctioned, is what they will be able to build. Can we all suggest, in the interest of everybody, that they should make some provision to bring in a certainty? Once the plans are approved, those will be the plans which you, me will be able to develop, construct, and we will not be subject to any uncertainty. That during the course of development, further CC, they will not say, now the rules have changed, now you have to do this. You know, we enter into the development agreement with the cooperative societies or with the landowners. We say, we'll give you this, we'll give you this, we'll give you this, all with the good intentions, perhaps we do it. But by the time we go to the corporation, all our good intentions are washed off. Suddenly comes, you can't do this, you can't do this, now the rules have changed. I've had so many developments which were partly constructed, and you all know that 2 years back, 3 years back, in 2011, June, they brought the concept of fungible FSI. All our plans, halfway constructed buildings, when I go for further commencement certificate, they say no further commencement certificate. You change the balance building because now you have to use the fungible FSI. You can't now provide the flower beds. You can't provide the balcony in this manner because you have to use the fungible. Now what I do, half of the building is made, half of the building is yet to be made. Do we have any certainty? In the planning, has ever anybody thought that there must be some certainty that once your plans are approved, they are frozen. Planning is frozen. It will not be affected by any changes unless national security demands it. This is one of my grooves in this development process which they have now started. Development plan which we are all talking, DP, which is read some 300 pages, 276 pages, is not the only development plan. They say the devil is in the details. There is something called draft report. I think we must read the development plan with the draft report. There's so many details which are given in the draft report which will either negate or will subject the provisions of the draft plan because they are there in the draft report, and tomorrow the answer might come before you. You have given the objections, but we have said it in the draft report. For instance, we are talking about this draft development plan. This is not a final plan. The draft report talks about something, local area plan. That local area plan for the local areas. Who will do that planning? When it will be done? What will happen for the local areas? When will like today we have a transitory period difficulties. What is going to happen in the local areas, which they are saying Gauthans, town planning schemes, heritage buildings, areas, all these areas they will have a local area planning. Nothing is clear. They have not done any planning. Some of the things they are leaving it on the municipal commissioner. Something they are leaving that we will prepare that plan. What will be that plan? Whether you will be covered in that or not. There has to be some clarity on that. This is very vital reasons. You know, there is a concept in parking provisions that parking will be made 50% in the areas called TOD. You go through the whole development plan, you will not know what is TOD, transit oriented development. You will not find anywhere unless you go to the draft plan. In the draft plan, there is a chapter in which there are 2 or 3 pages devoted onto TOD. So my first caution to all of you and to myself is that when we read the development plan, we must read it together with the draft proposal. As a developer, I make investment and I want to complete the project in time. If I don't do it, every customer comes and shouts at me that what happens. Now what the uncertainties which has been created by the new development plan. As it is, you know the delay, how much it takes. We have environment assessment where the committees are not appointed. So you take 1 year, 2 years to get the environment assessment done, clearance. You also have a high-rise committee. When they will meet, when they will clear, you don't know. On top of it, now, in the development plan, they have introduced the development permission in 2 phases. It is not that you prepare the plan and submit to the municipality that your plans will be approved. Now they have created another layer called the development permission, planning permission. They have given various situations in which a planning permission will be required. And one of those circumstances in the situation is where TDR is to be used. If we see the development plan draft, except for two areas where is a no development zone where the base FSI is 0.15 or something, or where the base FSI is 2, there no TDR is permitted. In all other cases, so I can say in 90%, 95% of the cases, TDR will be used. Now, if you are using the TDR in construction of the building, you must first go for planning permission. They will constitute a planning committee. You first get your plans approved from the planning committee for the planning permission, then you come for the building permission. Another layer. Perhaps it will add to the cost. The hidden cost will go up. Another layer of delays which they have added is that in case there is any reservation of any type on the property, then that reservation has to be handed over to the municipal corporation, not in the beginning, not at the end, but in the middle of the construction. After you have consumed one FSI or 50% of the permissible base FSI, whichever is higher, you will not be able to do further construction till you have handed over the reservation area out of your property to the municipality. Not only handed over, you have transferred it legally and brought their name on the property card. I'm sure most of you will know, bringing the name on the property cards. There may be many persons who many years must have passed to bring the name on the property card. So how much time the construction will be stopped? Because name of the municipal corporation must come on the property card. Another delay. Then we talk of the areas, plot areas. For me as a developer, if you have by good luck, which will now turn into misfortune, an area of more than 2,000 square meters, you are a very few targeted people then, because 10% of that area has to be given for the amenity. It has to be handed over to the municipality, and it must have an approach road to it and access to it. You may not have. You may crisscross, come from anywhere, but the 10% area which you are going to hand over to the municipality, it must have an access. So 10% of the plot goes to the municipality. Now you happen to have more than 2,000 square feet there, saying that you must provide 10% for inclusive housing. We understand the need. We understand the need that you have to provide low-cost housing, or people of the various societies have to be, brought in, accumulate. They have to be, brought together. Inclusive society has to be created. But the 10% is required to be done in the same plot. As a separate wing, same thing, or you may give it in another place. It doesn't end at that. If your plot area happens to be slightly bigger and you want to construct 2-3 buildings, then you get the layouts approved. Approval of the layout is all right, but you must provide an access road. And that access road must give access to the adjoining buildings. And that access road is now deemed to be a public road, and it must be handed over to the municipality. And the width is also prescribed. So the fortune which we were considering of having an area of more than 2,000 square meters or a slightly bigger is going to be sliced and sliced. How will a planning be done? How the buildings will be planned? It will be perhaps now for the architects to earn. I'm very happy my friend Mr. Joachim Rice is also taken care in the municipal draft development plan. Of all the list of professionals which were required must, they have now added advocates and solicitors as a must. And not only that, they should remain till the project is over. And if they happen to change, you must bring his NOC. List of professionals. He's very happy today. I'm also happy. He's my very good friend, colleague. Well, we talk about FSI having gone up, so don't raise your hopes very high that you will charge from me, developer, a big amount. Now the FSI has gone up. I have to buy the FSI additional, not from you, the landowner. You are no more the landowner. You are a burden on the society. You must pay to the municipality. There was a concept known in Transfer of Property Act, Immovable Property Act, the rights attached to accruing appended to our immovable property, your property. Now the FSI, additional FSI, which is given on the basis of the land, it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to the government or to the municipality. For the first permissible FSI A, you pay 60% of the regular value to the government. For the second permissible FSI B, you pay 100% of the regular value to the government. Not only that, till now we had the TDR which could be used. If you are using the TDR from an area which is away from your property, where the land value is cheaper, and if you want to use that TDR in your property where the land price, regular price is higher, apart from paying the price to the sellers of the TDR, you will also have to pay to the government the differential in the regular value. And every day we see the government making a big noise, the prices must come down. The developers are making money. Well, I wish we make money, because we are in the business of making money.